this is really important. You're playing an exponential trend, not a mean reverting trend. You're crazy to rebalance. You might periodically, because you want the cash, to take top slice profits.
I agree.
Really, you need to hold the position because your view is a 10-year view. So don't trade on a 1-year basis or a quarterly basis, because then your trade horizon doesn't match your time horizon, which was the basic thing that Paul Tudor Jones taught me, is the best people in the world, trade horizon matches their time horizon. So again, people are linear. They look at the world as is today and they can't look forwards. Why would I invest in, let's say, Apple when they brought out the iPod? Well, there's two ways of looking at that. I'm not going to use an iPod, and therefore, well, I don't see the value right now. I've got a record collection, or I've got a bunch of CDs, right? I don't need that. It's fine. I love my stereo at home. Or the person who looks at it and said, holy shit, this is the future of digitizing all music, putting it on a small device, and that leads to the mobile phone, and that leads to computing power of huge scale in your pocket, which leads to the entire mobile revolution, that leads to the entire app development, right? That is the difference in linear thinking. So people are saying, well, where's the big consumer app? Well, guess what? By the time the huge big consumer apps are out, most of the value's been captured already. You're always going to be too late. It's like people are doing it with Tesla. It's hilarious. They don't understand that what you're trying to do in these growth style opportunities is look 10 years out, not this year's earnings or this year's application. And people just struggle with this. Anybody who's been in financial markets knows that there is something called a risk curve. And the risk curve is you start with the safest asset. So in the bond market, it's really simple. So the US T-bill is the least risky of all. Then you move out to the 30-year. Then you move out to corporate bonds. Then you move out to junk bonds. And then you go to private sector lending or distressed. And what you've got is a return profile that at the right point in the cycle, you need to be taking risk. And at the right point in the cycle, you need to not be taking risk. Crypto works identically. We're humans. We operate in exactly the same way in every market. Same with equities when you push out to emerging markets, then frontier markets, all of this stuff. So it's just a function of that. And yes, own some of the tail, own some of the new technology that may not be in play right now. I own some social token plays, some metaverse plays. The metaverse plays just pumped recently, where they did nothing for a year. But I kept them there because, they went up and down. I didn't really look at them because I didn't care, because I wanted exposure to that part of the risk curve too. Anything that's a little bit harder to do filters out 90% of the participants. And if you're right and it's harder to do, you'll make all the returns. Doesn't mean that you're guaranteed returns, but making it hard means that you tend to be earlier than others. Social tokens are a way to organize complex adaptive societies, i.e. big communities. And it creates a reward system and incentivization to drive network growth by being a good community member and creating value to the community. The behavioral economics of a social token is extraordinarily powerful. And we are going to see this at scale across sports, music, guilds, skills. There's so many different use cases that we're going to see this come into.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
And it is early because NFTs is the first unlock. Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. That's basically a social token for Bored Ape Yacht Club owners. Bitcoin is essentially a social token for people who have the beliefs in Bitcoin. People don't like to say that, but that's really what these things are. And then what happens with the social token, can you build an economy on top of it? Ethereum would be another one. So they are utility tokens in that respect. They're composable, which means you can build stuff on top of it, but they have a value for your community. And if your community is vibrant and growing, the value of those social tokens can go up. And it's a very, very attractive way to build a layer of value above equity that doesn't exist. So if you think of it in terms of brand, you're seeing Nike right now and Adidas moving into the NFT space. What is that all about? This is about brand on a balance sheet right now is an intangible. Once you digitize brand, it becomes a tangible. And that's what these tokens.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.